Okay, welcome everybody. Good to see you. Me for the first time.
There you go, guys.
Ooh, let's get to taste a bit of this. Before we start, let's have a go. I'm going first.
Thank you.
Never, ever, 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 ever. Go on. I'll show my manners.
You might want to get in before Robbie.
I'll show my manners.
Let's go for it. Oh, wow. Oh, that's lovely.
Get a bit shrimp. Thank you.
That's really lovely.
Right, so that's you, John.
It's a really simple dish. It's local brown shrimp, just down the road in the estuary. Literally, the last week we got them. They came out, and we just kept it really simple. Butter, a little bit of smoked paprika, some garlic in there. We could use wild garlic, which we've just been brought some in today, locally picked from down the road. So if you had it, put some wild garlic in there. You know, a nice bit of rocket would be lovely in there instead of putting your pepper or your chili in. You know, whatever you can find that's local and in season, just adapt it. But the basic is keep it nice and simple. Food like this should be quick. If it's something that cooks quick, make the dish quick, you know. And as I say, you know, you've got lovely eggs sitting next to it there. A poached egg or a soft-boiled egg on that would be lovely as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Simple, quick.
Yeah. Tasty.
So, let me give you, because we're new to each other, by way of an introduction. Well fed. Tony and I started work together 2006. We created this company called Can Cook. And then back in 2019, we created Well Fed, partnership with Fflint County Council and a housing association called Clwyd.
Yes.
The idea is, how do you get really good food to everybody, everyone in the region? And so what we decided to do was to create this kitchen space. And the kitchen space has been designed to we cater for older people.
Brilliant.
We are going to be catering for schools.
Excellent.
In the not too distant future. We do a whole load of community work over here. We got boxes. So you're familiar with Hello Fresh?
Yeah.
So Hello Fresh, we do our own version called Well Fed at Home. And so we're cheaper and better.
Excellent.
Got to say that because I'm selling it, but you know, we're cheaper and we're better. But the other things that we do, we do, which is massively important to us, is we campaign to make sure if you're hungry, you get fed well.
Brilliant.
And so working with Fflint, we've created this thing called a food store, where 40 households get free food for 4 weeks. Then you get food for another 4 weeks for £10. And then you get food for £15 for another 4 weeks. But the food that they get is worth £40.
Wow.
Now, the way we do that is we subsidise our own meals.
Okay.
And so the most important thing is 53% of everyone in the UK now can't afford to eat good food. So we make sure everybody can afford to eat good food. That's the most important thing for us.
Excellent.
And we think that once we start doing our school food thing, and when we open our shop, which is coming soon in Shotton High Street. Once we do all of those things, that we will stop hunger in children in Flintshire, and it will be the first place anywhere in the UK to do that.
That's amazing.
And to make it all work, I love these eggs because these have just been brought into us, right? And the shrimp that we've got, obviously from Keith down the road. To make it all work, what we're really, really passionate about is bringing in local suppliers into a place where we can cook absolutely anything, he can cook absolutely anything, and we get it on the plates of children, families, whoever. So welcome.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Good to see you. So tell me, what do you think? What's going off out there? What else is going off out there?
Down here.
Good food wise. Good for you.
I mean, for me, I'm a baker, so there are so many local producers of different things that I'm using at the moment. Local honey, that's one. Eggs, like you said. I'm trying to find a Welsh flour that's local to us at the moment, but there is so much that you can utilise seasonally. Wild garlic just down the road. There's so much you can use locally and seasonally that's just needs more pushing, and people need to know it's there.
I think that's the hardest part sometimes, isn't it? People don't actually realise what there is available locally. You know, because we've been here for 3 years, and it took us a while to get to this stage. You know, to get to this stage. When we're professionals, so it's just putting it all out there.
Making those connections.
Do you know, I was walking in amongst a load of wild garlic the other day, right? And so I'm picking the wild garlic to take home, and there's a guy walking his dog, and he said, "What are you up to?" So I said, "It's wild garlic. I'm taking it home to cook it." And he went, "Well, what about the dogs?"
Yeah.
Right, because the dogs have been all over it. And I said, "Just wash it."
Yes.
But for him, he'd never seen it, didn't know anything about it, you know, and it was everywhere.
And you can smell it as well.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you're walking down the road, you get that.
Well, he could smell it once he stopped
Yeah.
and started to talk about it, you know, which was superb. I must show you, because I know you're big on social media. I must show you this French guy around bacon later. Remind me of stuff like that. But nothing to do with today. I'm gonna show you him. I tell you what's important for us as well is how do you get what we're doing locally to people where they can access it. We've got mobile shops,
Yeah.
and those mobile shops are going all around the region. But I think if once we lay this shop down in Shotton, and we're gonna make Shotton pies.
Okay.
Right.
Brilliant.
So the thing is, join people where they are.
Yeah.
Make sure that you cook the food that people want to eat,
Exactly.
and then make it healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't taste great, people don't want it.
There's no point.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is to make sure that get all the local ingredients, push them into things, name them things like Shotton pies.
Yeah.
You know, and then create an identity with all of
Yeah,
that.
the identity. Well, they can get involved in that, can't they? It's something you can do in the shop.
Yeah.
They are, you know, 'cause they're able to come
Things
to
like-
what to be named this.
Competitions, name the
Exactly.
pie. Yeah.
But I think the other thing we want to do as well is about pricing, because if people can't afford decent food, they ain't never gonna buy it.
No.
You know.
Well, that's
So what we're going to do is we use our profit to subsidise the meals.
Fantastic.
So we have a range of ready meals that are going to be sold in the shops. Let's do a big PR for the shop, right?
yeah.
Tea and coffee like everybody else, like McDonald's do it. Let's go that way. Then we're going to do Shotton pies, and then we're going to do pastries. Then we're going to do sandwiches. What did you say to me the other week?
Our take on Subway, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Going to be our take on Subway. We're going to do like a high hydration focaccia, and effectively they'll come and they'll pick their they'll pick their fillings, and then they'll just get it inside rather than the big baguette. It will just be, you know, a nice webby sort of focaccia.
Yeah, and then loads of meals, loads of soups, loads of this, loads of that.
Can you buy ready meals?
Yeah, you can buy ready meals,
Local.
but nothing will sell for more than £2,
That's amazing.
right? And then microwaves on the wall. Bang them in if you want to warm it. Want a sandwich with the coffee, sit down, chat to us, that kind of thing.
Brilliant.
And then how do you create, this is what we think this is how you create a local good food environment.
Yeah.
A
Get it.
community.
Everybody around this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for the first time often, people will be eating decent food at a price they can afford.
Yeah.
Massive,
Yes, massive.
massive.
We've got the community sport hub also over the road. Don't know if you know about that,
Okay.
in the church.
Oh, yes.
So that opened in July 21 to be able to support people with income, food poverty, and fuel poverty. So anyone who goes in there who goes in and says, I need some support with food, they're then directed to Robbie, well fed for the food store.
So it's all
So
local.
it's all linked, so they
direct.
will be able
Yeah.
to come over to the shop and have a coffee and have a chat. And
Do you know what the most important thing? We've done this right from the start, and this is the most important thing. We're doing it right now.
yeah,
Sitting around a dining table, having a chat because of food,
yeah,
right? And most people, Tony always smiles when I say this, right? I'm going to say it so because I've only been saying it for about the last 10 years, right? Over 60% of everybody never cooks at home ever, right? We think it might be even higher from the work that we've done, right? And so
Yeah.
what's interesting about that is that people don't get to do this.
Yeah.
Sit around and chat about good food, end the day or begin the day over something decent to eat, because it's a dying art, you know.
It is.
So we can get people to do that,
yeah,
our gang,
yeah.
then
Excited about it.
It's just that's all it's about, getting people. I mean, we at the weekends.
Beautiful.
Oh, I travelled 18 miles to give you half a loaf of bread. It's that's all it's about. It's just about getting excited to give him half a loaf of bread.
Wow.
So Tony made a sourdough yesterday. Tony made sourdough yesterday. So he drives across to me to say you've got half a loaf because his family had the other half, right? So I'm sitting there just eating
Oh yeah, what is
his first sourdough.
Oh, brilliant.
Amazing. As a baker, you'll get it.
Yeah, I'm making sourdough every morning at the moment, and my sister, she's gone off to uni in Leicester, and she's now got an appreciation for good bread. So every time she visits and goes back home, I'll bake her a loaf, slice it up, cling film it, and she puts it in the freezer.
Oh,
and then she's got good bread.
Well, yeah, here we go. Friendships around table. You've just found a new best mate in me, right? Because now I know where you are. Now I know what you're doing. Because I just think that sourdough, when it's done really well, is the best tasting.
It is. And it's better for you. It's so healthy. The benefits of sourdough.
And it's always different.
It is.
I'm just starting my journey.
Oh,
I said to you before, my daughter walked into the kitchen. She said, "You look after Millie. Millie's me starter, by the way. You look after Millie better than you do me."
It takes more concentration.
Yeah, 100%.
Sourdough bread's moody.
Yeah.
I would describe it as moody. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. Gets in a mood, doesn't want to turn out.
Yes.
You know,
I've had that a few mornings.
Have you? How long have you been doing it?
About a year and a half now. So yeah, year and a half I didn't know anything about sourdough, and now I live and breathe it. So
Have you got your own place? Are you?
no, I'm based in Bebington, so I'm head baker of Wild Bakery, and we supply 2 other cafes with bread and cakes, pastries and things. So yeah, I've been doing that since the new year.
Will we
about
have
you?
bread in the not sourdough? I don't know. In the shop.
I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give away French sticks. Every time somebody, it won't be freshly baked, but we're trying to get people just to sit down, dunk the bread in some soup and stuff, you know, and just get them back to sitting around and enjoying food
We've
again.
done the warm-ups, haven't we, over the winter months, so November to, so 16 of our community centres, well-fed, they delivered the food, delivered meals for them to take home with them, or eat there if they wanted to, and soup with a roll, so they were able to sit down, so they've been a great success, absolutely amazing, to the point where they don't want to close, and we're going to be cheering to not going to close, they're all welcome.
We're going to convert them into, we're going to run a Meals on Wheels service with a difference. So instead of going door to door, we're going to go door to centre.
Yes.
And so
Take the food to the centre.
so people are in touch with each other, get them out, you know. But the thinking around the Meals on Wheels service, and it's like Welfare at Home, the box service that we have, the thinking is everybody needs to be in touch with good food. Yeah. Absolutely everybody. So the idea is if you're a bit isolated, we'll be able to get to you. But also, if we can get you to come together, then you're more likely to talk about it. You're more likely to want to do it again. And then before you leave, because I know you haven't been here before. Have you been here before? Once upon a time, yeah. So I'll show you our food lockers.
Oh, okay.
So the Amazon. Everyone's seen Amazon food, Amazon lockers. Well, we've designed meal lockers. And so you can put them outside schools and outside workplaces. You give us a ring, you order our Welfare at Home service, we drop it into the box, send you a text, you walk up, scan your phone, and then bingo, you've got great food to make at home.
What an idea. That's fantastic.
Yeah, for all the family.
And you know, the thing that gets me really wound up, right, is that we're about to do a load of work with schools, and this would be food that no school child would ever see. Right, you just don't get to see the quality of this kind of quality. This is the kind of stuff that we're going to get on school food menus, right? We're going to make sure that kids get to eat well in the first instance, eat food that they're used to, and then we're going to do some experimentation with them, you know, and get them to widen the palate.
Yeah.
That's just because for too long, adults decide what children will eat through their own poor food habits. So you get people going, but kids won't eat that. Interestingly, they won't if you keep telling them that they won't. But if you let them play with it and they taste it, they'll love it, you know.
And that's the only way you're going to address what it is that we're trying to do. There's no point in going seasonal or local. You can only go local if you go seasonal.
Yes.
That's it. So if you don't go season, the only way you can go seasonal is to get children and the older generation as well to try different foods. Otherwise, you're always going to be carrots, broccoli, you know. So one doesn't work without the other. Until you get people experimenting, then they're not going to eat seasonally. Until you get them eating seasonally, you can't go local. That's it.
But you know, the important thing for us is using food to regenerate communities.
Yes.
Right. So how do you use food to regenerate communities? You make sure the kids are fed it. You make sure older people are fed it. You make sure every house can get their hands on. You know, for instance, we're going to do a shop in Shotton.
Yeah.
And that's about regenerating the area. Yeah. Because unless we go there, you've got sayers. Not knocking sayers for what it does, right? But you've got sayers, and then you've got sayers, you know. So unless somebody comes in and does something slightly different, you've got sayers.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to provide good food opportunities so kids can eat it. The area then starts to feel better about itself. I've never found anything that makes people feel better than good food.
Oh,
I'd
definitely.
agree.
110%.
You know, so if you can give people the option to go and shop for it, and you know all about what's coming there, don't you know, with the regen?
The shop regeneration of the shop has been, I think it's been empty for a good few years, hasn't it? So we're learning a bit about the history of it as well, what it used to be. We've got some lovely photos that hopefully we may be able to put up so people can also see
Possibly, yeah.
what it used to look like.
Connect with it, yeah.
But the regeneration, so the council, we've been able to, along with Welfare Secure Funding, to grants to be able to redo it.
We're going to put
refurbish it. And it's not upstairs.
We're going to
as
put a
well.
kitchen. We're going to put a kitchen in there. We're going to put a shop front in there. We're going to upstairs. There's somebody previously homeless who's going to go upstairs and become a tenant.
Yeah.
But you know what? If we're not superb at what we do, we've got no right to be there. So this is not a kind of touchy-feely approach, right? This has got to be bang on,
Yeah.
right? And so I want people to come and shop with us because the food is fantastic.
And you want people coming back because they
Coming
know
back.
it's good.
Yeah.
And we've got to make sure that people can afford it.
Yeah.
And if people can afford it, and it tastes great, because if it doesn't taste great, there is no point.
No.
Yeah.
If it tastes great, then we're going to have people coming back time and time.
We spoke before. I grew up in an Italian family, so this is something that we used to have that people forgot. You know, we had delis. I mean, where I was from in London, we had an Italian deli, we had a Greek deli, you know, and they sold effectively what we've got on every local high street, but it was all in one. So you've got your Sayers, your Greggs, your Subways, and they were all in one shop.
Yeah.
You know, and doing what we do, starting from scratch, making everything themselves and just making enough for that day, you know, and they would run out.
Yeah.
And they would run out, and then you'd have to get there quicker.
Yeah.
And then you'd scope up a little bit, and you scope up a little bit, and somewhere down the line, we've lost all of that, just through for our high streets, and we're trying to bring some of that back.
There's something that I've been saying for a while is that the food supply chain have forgot about the eater. It's all they're just concentrating on the supply chain itself. They forgot what it's like to eat the food.
Yeah.
You've got all the work that we've done from 2006 up to 2019, starting here. The most important thing that we've always remembered is it's always about the person eating the food. You get that right, you get the supply chain right. If you get that right, then everybody can afford to eat decent food.
It also supports them in their wider life as well. Like you've got the sign over there, people eat well, they cope well. So if they're going through a crisis, they're able to eat, which then gives them the energy and the headspace to be able to
You're sleeping better, you're eating better.
Crisis.
It's all linked. It's all linked.
Imagine being hungry. Imagine being hungry and told to cope.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine being a child and sent to school and you're hungry and the teacher's saying, do me a favour, behave yourself. Well, you can't, right? And as a parent, if you're hungry, well, you can't look after your kids properly. So I don't get it that in 2023, that kids are going hungry in particular, but anybody goes hungry.
Yeah.
So, you know, part of what we'll do is definitely in Shotton, part of what we'll do is to make sure that no child goes hungry locally. Dead important, really, really important. Good to see you all, right? And thanks for coming along, because this has been really important. These conversations are really, really important. And I'm convinced in conversations like this, we'll have the opportunity to make sure absolutely everybody gets to eat decent food right across the region, starting when it comes out the water
Yeah.
till it ends up as a dish.
Yeah.
Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.